Every summer, my extended family rents a big house for our annual vacation. This year, it's 10 of us. Me, 27, my husband, 28, our 2-year-old daughter, my sister, 24, her boyfriend, and various aunts, uncles, and cousins. To keep things fair, my aunt organizes a sign-up sheet for household supplies and meals. Last year, things got messy. Some people, like my sister and her boyfriend, barely contributed, eating food others bought while only cooking one dinner. So this year, my aunt laid down the law. Dinners and snacks are assigned, but breakfast and lunch are on each family to handle. No communal free-for-all. My family loves eggs. We go through 1.5 to 2 dozen a week. I'm picky about quality because of how many we eat. At home, I buy free-range organic eggs from my neighbor for $5 a dozen. Fresh golden yolks from Happy Chickens. If she's out, I get organic free-range eggs from the store, usually $7 or $8. Since we're vacationing in a pricey touristy area, I planned ahead and packed 2 dozen of my neighbor's eggs in a cooler. I wasn't about to pay tourist trap prices for subpar eggs, and I wanted to ensure my daughter had the good stuff she's used to. This morning, I opened my first carton and found it nearly empty. My daughter had only eaten 2 eggs since we arrived, so I knew something was up. I asked around, and my sister admitted she and her boyfriend used my eggs to make omelets. They hadn't bought any breakfast supplies and figured my stash was fair game since there were so many. I was annoyed, but kept my cool. I reminded her that breakfast isn't communal and asked her to replace the eggs. I specified they were organic, free-range, and suggested Pete and Jerry's or something similar, since that's what we use. She nodded and headed to the store. That night, she came back with the cheapest store-brand eggs, probably $3 a dozen, the kind from caged hens fed who knows what. I told her we don't eat those and asked her to return them and get organic, free-range ones, regardless of price. She flipped out, saying it wasn't a big deal, and the organic ones were super expensive. I held firm, explaining I'd brought those specific eggs for a reason, and she needed to replace the 8 she took with the same kind. Grumbling, she went back and got Pete and Jerry's, keeping the cheap eggs for herself. But now she's mad, acting like I'm some egg snob who humiliated her over a few bucks. The family split on this. My husband thinks $10 for a dozen eggs is steep, and I could have let it slide. My mom agrees, saying I overreacted and should have accepted the store-brand eggs to keep the peace. But my aunt backs me, pointing out that my sister took something specific and should have replaced it properly. I get that $10 seems like a lot, but it's not about the money. It's about fairness. I went out of my way to bring those eggs so my family could eat what we're used to. My sister didn't ask, didn't contribute, and then tried to cheap out on replacing what she took. I don't think it's unreasonable to expect her to make it right, especially after last year's freeloading. Still, I'm wondering if I came off too harsh. Maybe I could have compromised and used the store-brand eggs for the week, but it bugs me that she didn't even try to respect my request until I pushed. It's less about the eggs themselves, and more about her assuming she could take whatever without consequences. Am I the asshole for making my sister replace my eggs with organic ones? Thanks for listening, and if you want to hear more interesting stories, just click the link below.